Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people who hate reading. This week it was my pick, so we're doing the movie Fat Kid Rules the World by Matthew Lillard, and I bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Ryan Prest. Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. I wanted to let you guys know that we do have a Facebook page, so please drop us a line and let us know what you think about our show, and if you have a movie you'd like us to do, please let us know. And since I did Fat Kids Rule the World, I'll do the...
I got it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fat Kids Rule the World, 2012.
Sorry.
A dropout comes to the aid of a chubby and suicidal high school kid by recruiting him as the drummer for his upstart punk rock band.
Upstart.
And this is Matthew Lillard's first long-form movie.
Yeah, it was directorial debut, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he did, according to what I've seen, he directed a short, but this is his first long format.
Oh, okay. But as far as I remember him going on some shows and like doing like a Kickstarter or some like Indiegogo thing for this.
Yeah, that's exactly. It was a Kickstarter. It was a Kickstarter movie, and this is also a book by somebody named K.L. Going.
Do you know how much money he actually raised for it?
You know, I actually tried to look that up, and I didn't see exactly how much he got, because I think he got some financing, an addendum to in the beginning.
Yeah, sure.
I guess I'll go first. I actually, the thing that I thought was cool about this movie, it has a very 90s feel to it, but more of a modern sensibility.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one.
Well, I think it's indicative to the low budget. You're kind of going back to sort of 90s technology.
Well, the thing about this movie is it made me like reminisce to all the mosh pits and the underground concerts I used to go to all the time.
But when's the last time you had a drummer throw up all over everybody?
I'd never seen that.
right before he said it, I had the thought in my head like, that's punk rock.
Which, by the way, did that take place? It looked like it was in one of those storage facilities. Like,
that's what
actually
it kind of looked
in
like.
one.
It
we
probably
got a
was.
lot of those types of like little warehouse gig spots around like downtown parts of LA and out the outskirts. So
yeah,
one of those types of places.
we used to just do like community halls and kind of get kicked out of a couple community halls.
Yeah,
it got a little rowdy.
Well, I mean, there was one where there was like a 1.5 foot gouge in the floor from after we got done moshing. Hardwood floor.
The whole place is just sunken in.
There is a couple of scenes I actually love the cinematography. The one scene I remember I actually thought it was really well done is when the main character was walking from the front door from the kitchen, and he didn't walk in front of the camera. He walked into the door that was in that area, and you watch the camera pan across the wall, into the little open door, and watched him grab something from the fridge. Then he walked towards the camera.
Yeah, that was actually an interesting little idea for that one.
I actually really liked that. I was really impressed.
Yeah, there were some interesting things, because I mean, it was like they really got into some really tight areas. Like even when they were in the apartment, there was quite a bit of things that were it looked like they were actually in an apartment type thing. Or
in that storage facility in that, when their first actual gig.
Yeah. Threw up.
One of the questions I had is because it looked like he lived in an apartment. How did no one hate him for practicing the drums as much as he had to?
I don't know. Well, I've known some people that lived in kind of like apartment buildings like that, and as long as you're like renting out both floors, I mean, the neighbors will get irritated, but you don't necessarily mean that you're living with other people in there. It could be just a small house.
Okay, because...
So that's what I
think he mentioned that one of the neighbors was half deaf or something.
Oh, I don't remember.
Keep it down, after a certain time. But yeah, in an apartment, the kick pedal hitting that ground.
Yeah,
that's gonna rumble some stuff.
I bet if people cross the street for like, shut up.
But this movie, I was expecting it to be a lot worse than it was. I mean, it was one of those things that, coming into it in the beginning of the movie, I'm just like, is this movie really gonna like suck as much as it seems to? And then it turned itself around. So that was actually something that speaks for this movie that I kind of thought about.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of a Matthew Lillard fanboy. I like most of his characters because most of the characters he plays are kind of offbeat, like S.L. Punk. He played serial killer in Hackers. So he does characters that are are more interesting. So I figured, okay, if this is something he wanted to direct, it has to be in his sensibility. Something
right,
that,
and he's always one of those actors, like, if we're gonna hire Matthew Lillard, they know they're getting like the punk rock Matthew Lillard, you know what I mean? Because that's what he is, like, but that's what he's known for.
But all in all, I mean, this one, like you said, it has more like a '90s kind of indie, or not even indie, but kind of cult classic film feel to it.
Like the best way to describe that would be like. Noisy in here. I guess the best way to describe it would be like Empire Records. It has that era in film kind of feel to it.
Yeah, a little bit throwback.
I was thinking of one of your films that you took a long time tracking down was Bandwagon. Yeah, that's kind of what it made me feel like I was kind of getting into. But and I would say it's not as good as Bandwagon. Bandwagon is I would say is a little bit better, but it's different storytelling, different characters, different things. So it's really, you can't compare the two that well. But
I also
that's kind of what it made me think of. And I grew to actually care about more of the characters. I did kind of like the fact that he took his daydreaming into kind of a reality feel, where it showed you like when the dad catches him and takes a box cutter and cuts his gut open.
Yeah.
Type thing. Or when he, like, the initial scene where he's standing and kind of steps out into the bus, and just you get like this big thing of just blood and guts everywhere. Like that was the bag.
My thought with that was a hell of an opening scene. Just walking out, it's like, whoa.
Well, Jen watched it with me, and she's kind of like, after that, she's like, I don't think I really want to watch much of this movie anymore. Yeah, but she continued through it, and she kind of at the end of it, she's like, I actually enjoyed it.
Well, look, if I could jump into just my whole feeling of it, because it's pretty succinct, but it's
go ahead.
It's easy to like movies when the subject matter relates to you and whatnot. So a lot of us try to like, oh, okay, I like this type of movie, so I'm going to watch it, and you like it based on that. This movie, it had such a sort of a specific type of thing with this. Obviously it was a high school movie sort of in general, but then the whole punk rock element, which I love. But aside from that, like, I felt like, oh, okay, this is going to be like a punk rock movie. This is going to be awesome. And then all of a sudden, it sort of turned into this like incredibly like personal story. And then I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, like, oh shit, this is Matthew Lillard doing this. Like, it just seemed like he must have just obviously read the book and realized, like, oh man, this needs to be put out there, because it was a simple story, but it was all heart. That was all this movie was just a heart story.
See, I think even though it was a very simple story, very simple plot, the characters in this show are it's a very diverse character wise.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Matt O'Leary's character Marcus.
Yeah,
the way he played the character was really a lot like friends I had.
By the way, was that really punk rock, whoring yourself out to dudes in a bathroom?
Yeah, that kind of took a turn, man. Like, I thought it was just kind of his friends busting his balls, but then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, shit, man. Like,
that's punk rock.
Yeah,
I guess.
But I actually liked the way he played that character. It was really kind of like, it was like I knew friends like that were just like that.
So, because his character really seemed to be the type of person that used everything up and went to the next person until he met what was the main character's
Troy.
name? Until he met Troy, who this seems like the first time that he ran into somebody that genuinely is like, hey, he's my friend, I'm going to care for him. Seems like the first time he ran into that.
The first person he met that after he screwed him over entirely, that still stuck around.
Yeah. But it was the fact that there was character development that happened during the movie over that, like when he was in the hospital and type thing, and excuse me. And
they both kind of helped each other, because what's his name? What was the druggy guy's name?
Marcus.
Marcus really kind of gave the guy Troy a direction, and so I think it was more like Troy going, okay, he gave me a direction, I need to pay it forward.
Well, not just that, but. But he saw that it was a change in his life, like when he's sitting there and he's kind of like playing the drums, and then he looks over at his computer like, oh yeah, he used to do that.
Yeah. I really ended up liking the arc with the dad.
Oh yeah,
with some great performances turned in by Billy Campbell.
Yeah, I like Billy Campbell. He's one of those guys that you look at him and you kind of forget about his character in one movie or a TV show, because he's done TV shows quite a bit too.
Yeah, a lot of TV.
But I really liked his
hold on
character.
a second. First of all, that's the Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Is it is?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He's a one of those actors that you kind of forget about. Like I said, you forget about him.
5 minutes into this movie, and I had to pause it because I'm like, "Who is this guy? I know this guy. I know this guy." And then I scrolled down his IMDb page, and it just hit me. I'm like, "Oh shit, that's the Rocketeer."
Yeah,
this
I did
guy's
the
like
same
a childhood hero of mine since I was like 4.
Yeah, I did the
So a
exact
couple
same
years
thing with
ago.
him. But I like the fact that when they're all sitting at the dinner table, it shows how much structure he had in his house.
Mm-hmm.
Where Marcus sits down and he's like just kind of grabbing everything, and both of the boys' faces is like, "Is Dad gonna kill this kid?"
Because I liked the impetus of that. Far as he was in the military, so he's a very structured guy. And after his wife kind of died, it showed him going back to the only thing he knew how to do.
Right. Yeah, and that's
structure.
how he was gonna raise his kids. Is like, I know this structure, so that's what I'll give to them.
Yeah.
And you could see with the introduction of Marcus kind of throws a monkey wrench into the situation, and it changes everybody, because you see later on towards the movie of the dad going, kind of seeing like, my son cares for this kid, and there's a kid I can actually help.
Yeah.
Right.
You could see his dad's
bad
changing.
things that he's doing, but the good things that he's doing makes him a good person. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
kind of help this guy get order in his life.
He got in a crappy situation, but we know we can help type
Yeah.
of thing.
It's basically a dad who knows that his kid is really good. He's a good-hearted kid. You know what I mean? Has a lot to offer, but so as soon as he has the opportunity to help him out, he's obviously going to be right there. He just wasn't expecting it to be punk rock and drums.
Yeah.
I have to say, though, I love the scene with that stuffed animal, and they're in the kitchen table, and he just opens it up, and for like a good couple of seconds, you see nothing but pills keep falling out.
Yeah.
That was such a funny scene.
Yeah, but I do gotta say, I did not like the way this movie ended.
Why?
I just think they cut
You
it
wanted
off.
to hear the song, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so-
mean, I wanted to see what the ending was, because I mean, they just kind of like started to play and then they cut it off. And it was kind of like,
I'm fine with them leaving it ambiguous. The only thing that I was kind of bummed out is when he was sitting on the the steps waiting for the guy to show up, and he was tapping on the bottle. He actually had some really good chops. So
Yeah.
that's really the only reason I wanted to see him actually play.
yeah. And I actually kind of mentioned it to him to Jen when he's on the bus. I said, I've seen Ryan do that quite a bit, is where he's like kind of tapping on everything.
Yeah.
Because you used to do that too.
Yeah, totally.
Drummer.
Yeah, you have a drum set, which is like between certain hours, and then you start pissing people off. So you tap on everything else.
I have to say, I have to agree with James, because this seemed like the opus moment. This was the accumulation of all this pain and heartbreak. I really wanted to see it, just to see the fat kid, as it were, just to wail on the drum set, just to wow everybody. That was the one scene I really wanted to see.
Yeah. But you're sitting there and you get like you said, you get torn through this whole heart-wrenching story, and then you get to the climax of it, and then it's just like, no.
But I'm actually, I agree with James, but I'm also like, I also totally get why you would cut it short.
Well, I get why. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I would have liked to have seen that. And
now we have something talking to us.
yeah, where'd that come from?
But I'm gonna have to actually buy this movie. I'm gonna have to buy the DVD and actually see if there's any extras on it, because.
I'm sure there has to be. I mean, especially some interviews with some of the people or something.
Yeah.
So I guess the question here is, since this is after everywhere I've read Matthew Lillard's directorial debut, what do you think? I mean, if you compare everything he's ever done or other directors, I actually want to see Matthew Lillard direct more. I really love the sensibility.
I mean,
of this
if
movie.
he's going to get performances out of people like this and keep telling these, like I said, really nice personal stories, I mean, that's hell yeah, I want to see more of this.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see him continue on. I think he did a great job. Like Ryan said, he pulled out a lot of good performances from a mixed match of actors. I mean, some young actors, some who have been around for a while,
and some very strange characters, whereas
Yes.
the idiosyncrasies between them, like that one chick who said, I slit my wrist, you want to see it,
Yeah, type
which
thing,
by
yeah.
the way, I knew people like that, so
Dude, yeah, so that's the thing is,
Yeah, but
like,
they actually
I
showed
feel like I
scars.
went to high
Yeah.
school with half of these people.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it was more, because, I mean, I don't know if... I haven't gone to high school recently, obviously.
Right.
But, you know, it kind of takes me back to kind of the things that a lot of kids were doing in the 90s.
Right. It was really, really easily relatable. I mean, that's a credit to the writing there.
Yeah. But I think it's also a credit to the director that makes it come across, because if you put like Uwe Boll in this movie and directed it, it'd turn out to be this hodgepodge of odd coincidence versus a very well intertwined story.
Well, you also got to remember that he came from, like you said, SLC Punk, which was the cult film for all of the 90s people. It's like, oh, you want to see a movie that you can really get into? You know, because there was a lot of things in there that were really, 90s
break
things.
It down, that's what indie movies are, man. It's people feeling that their group or their type of person is unrepresented, so they kind of do it themselves, low budget, you know what I mean? And it ends up being something like this, where it's incredibly honest.
Yeah.
You find all of these movies, you know, like, you obviously can tell whoever was writing this went through something a lot like this, you know?
Yeah.
Or, at least had some sort of experience to realize, you know, how the outcasts of society actually have a lot to add.
Yeah.
I'm pretty convinced the writer must have been a drummer, just because of the scenes when he was learning how to play was so kind of spot on.
So that's actually what I was going to ask. As a guy who was a drummer, was there any scene to you that really stood out, where he was strumming, anything?
The whole time when the guy is trying to teach him how to play, the frustration that he's just like, oh shit, this is what I'm working with, and then just trying to like, okay, look. And matter of fact, the one line that stuck out towards the end is like, if you're gonna yak, throw up on this one. It's cracked already. It's just, that's the mentality. It's like, look, this one's already screwed up, so wreck that one.
Well, I would say more of like this. I mean, if you've ever played any instrument, drums, guitar, anything, you suck.
And if you've ever tried to teach anybody any instrument, when you're listening to somebody who's not getting it or understanding it the way that you've sort of learned it, and it can be incredibly frustrating.
And you pretty much do start out the way that he does, where it's like you just kind of start hitting, and you're like, does this sound even okay? Because it sounds like shit to me.
The great thing about Marcus's character was he was telling. I mean, this whole thing was like, look, it doesn't matter if you play good. This is punk rock. Hit hard.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Just hit hard. Make it sound. That's it. Doesn't sound good. Just make it sound.
Yeah, punk rock intensity. It's all about anti-establishment.
And really screwing up the lead singer by not being on beat.
Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, this movie, I wouldn't put it up to a 4, but I will give it a definite strong 3.
You know what, dude? I'm gonna give it a 4, dude. I really connected to it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I mean, I felt like I went to high school with some of these people. You know what I mean? And most of them, and the writing really stood out as one of the better. You know, I mean, like I said, this is why people make indie movies, because they believe in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And this is what comes out.
I have to give it a 4. I like this movie. And the fact that I guarantee I know who some of these people are who I went to high school with. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure some of them are, still doing the same thing.
Oh, I guarantee at least 3 of them are.
Blowing people in a park?
Well, yeah, okay. I'll go with that. I'm pretty sure I knew some people who did the same thing. But yeah,
what?
This is a strong 4 out of 5. I really liked this movie. I like the fact there's an actor who I actually really like did it. So I just can't. I like this movie. Can't wait to see what Matthew Lillard does next directing. I'm actually really excited about that.
No, I get that.
I think a lot of people are going to be giving him a lot of chances based on this too.
I sure hope so.
I hope he does. Because I know a lot of people give him crap for being shaggy, when I actually think he does a really good job on it.
He was the not the problem with those movies.
No, I agree.
It was literally everything else.
Exactly. I completely agree.
I agree. I don't think it was completely the actor's fault on that one. I think it was
You could have pulled off his character.
I think they could have had everybody read a phone book, and it would have been better than what was written.
Well, Sarah Michelle Gellar was playing dumb, so she pulled that off okay.
Wow, so much for showing this to Matthew Lillard, right?
No, he can watch it. He got good praise.
I'm not saying anything about her personally. Well, it's just dumb. Hold a second. I like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So
I agree. Buffy was about the only good role she ever did.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the movie news portion of the show. And one thing I thought was interesting is Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad is open to playing Lex Luthor in the Batman vs.
Which would be the greatest effing thing I think I've ever heard.
I agree.
And an addendum to that is, what do you think of Ben Affleck?
Okay, hold on a second. Before anybody starts.
I wasn't going to get there.
Seriously?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, hold on.
Did I ruin yours?
This has upsetted me for the past 5 days because 14 people have been calling me like, dude, what do you think? What do you think? I need to hear your opinion because I knew you'd be pissed. I knew you'd be pissed. And it's like, hold on a second. I'm not pissed and I'm not happy. I'm reserving judgment until I actually see the movie.
Wait, hold on. Hold the phone.
Okay, I'm going to keep quiet. John's got a couple things.
Wait, so you're holding judgment? Seriously?
Dude, look, I've seen Ben Affleck do things that are terrible. I've seen Ben Affleck do things that are pretty good as far as his performance is concerned.
Oh, what the hell?
Batman in particular has had a bunch of different versions. Okay? There's a bunch of different ways that people can do it. If it's not the Joel Schumacher, hey, it's a comic book, you know what I mean, then it's okay. If obviously they know that Batman is a character to be taken seriously. Everybody freaked out when Heath Ledger was going to play the Joker. How could you do that to Jack Nicholson, they says.
Unless you're the guy...
Calm down.
Unless you're the guy who created Batman, who apparently says Val Kilmer did the best job.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, which version is going to be what? I mean, it could be good.
So,
okay,
it could not be, but let's not freaking freak out yet.
You want to save this for later?
No. We opened it up. We're going.
We're going to get into this.
Okay, now... Really?
Yeah.
Really? Are you sure?
Dude, seriously, come on. All the stuff that he's done bad, he's done kind of a while ago.
Okay, but this is coming off of
I know he ruined Daredevil, and that's going to be everybody's thing. And I know you're going to say, oh, he's coming off Argo, and it was blown out of proportion, but he still seems like he's grown enough to be able to pull off a semi-serious role, dude.
Okay, stop putting shit in my mouth when it doesn't belong there. First of all... Argo
so that's what I'm smelling.
Was a good movie.
Great movie.
And he did a good job in that, okay? But tell me what about him, what about Ben Affleck says Batman?
Ryan thinks he's cute.
Nothing. What about Heath Ledger said Joker?
Yeah, he has a good point there.
You do have a good point there, but hold on.
You don't know what version of Batman they're going to try to do, so
you don't know. They said the freaking Dark Knight in the thing, so he's supposed to be the Dark Knight. This is supposed
just what they love to refer to Batman as now.
This is Superman meeting Batman. This is coming off of the back of Man of Steel.
But it's...
Yeah, hold on. Both of you be quiet. I actually have a point to add. The rumor I've read is it's going to be an older Batman meeting a new superhero. So this is going to be kind of allegedly this is going to be the gruff, older, I'm tired of dealing with young punks Batman. This is what the rumor is.
This is the Batman that Superman has to come over and deal with because he's killing people. This is where they're coming from. That's what I'm bringing up to. Do you think Ben Affleck...
Hold on.
Do you think Ben Affleck can play that hardcore of a Batman?
I don't think
that's what they're going to do.
But it says in the description, the Dark Knight. That is who the Dark Knight is.
No, but hold on a second. That's not. They're just calling him the Dark Knight, dude. It's not a reference to him. And look. Well,
then they need to do their own.
He used guns in like the original Bob Kane version of the comic books in like the 40s.
So here's the
he hasn't killed anybody in a long time. So we're talking close to 70 years.
Well, here's the question then: If
they're not going to make that bad.
If they make him that way...
They're setting up JLA.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, here's then the two-part question then. If they do the gruff, gritty, the Dark Knight version of the Batman, do you think he could pull it off? Or do you think it's going to be like the JLA cartoon where he's more the family-friendly, gruff Batman?
No, it's not going to be family-friendly. It's not going to be Joel Schumacher. It's not going to be Dayglow paint on people's faces. It's going to be sort of set in the same kind of style as Man of Steel, obviously.
Well, do you think Batman? Do you think he could pull off the role if they do it?
As long as he looks good in whatever bat suit they put him in, that's all that's going to matter. Is if you can see the chin, and it looks halfway decent in the cowl. So, you know what I mean? Other than that, he's probably going to do a halfway decent job.
So the next news.
I mean, look, he turned down directing it.
Let me just finish this part, okay? I actually did not dislike the way they did Man of Steel that much.
I really liked it.
I think it was a turnaround for the Superman
Genre.
the Superman story, whatever. Now, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I need to back off from my preconceptions, or verified preconceptions of Ben Affleck, and give him a chance. I gotta give him a chance because I'm not gonna. Nothing I can say can get him out of the role. He's got the role, so he's gonna do it. I hope that watch it. I hope he does a good job. And the way they're portraying it, I really hope that this is the hardcore, totally badass Batman that Superman has to come and try to deal with.
What it's probably going to be is sort of Batman has his way of dealing with things, obviously beating the shit out of crime. And Superman has his sort of Boy Scout ways, obviously, because he has more ability to just run up, kind of grab you by the nape of the neck and call it a day. Obviously, Batman's a man, and he can't do that. So it's probably going to be sort of Batman looking at Superman like, oh, you're this Boy Scout, you know what I mean? And then they have contention, and then they end up working together in the end. It's not a difficult arc to figure out.
The part I'm waiting for in that is when Superman realizes that Batman really is the most dangerous person on the planet.
Seriously.
That's the part I'm realizing, because if you ever actually read the comics or look at the cartoons, you always see that everybody is a little leery about how much Batman not only doesn't trust him, but knows about him.
Yeah. Well, everybody sort of trusts Batman to be Batman, and they know he has his motivations that aren't going to be shifted one way or another.
And nobody's going to fuck with a bat.
Well, but the thing is, there was a great JLA book. I'm not going to remember the title, but it was I think it was Doom. Basically, Batman in his files has a contingent for everybody in the JLA to know how to take him out if necessary.
Anyways, we got to let John move on with his news. But
the second one is a character that I absolutely love, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. Cat? The next one is, the rumor is Marvel wants Joseph Gordon-Levitt to play Doctor Strange.
No.
That's
well, here's
I was expecting the Doctor Strange to be a little older.
Well, see,
and a little taller.
See,
well, whatever. All actors are short. They make them look tall.
You see, the tall factor doesn't...
You can do the Tom Cruise trick?
The taller fact doesn't...
Exactly, dude. If you can make Tom Cruise look tall. Guy's like 5'5".
Because the tall factor doesn't bother me. It's the fact that I always thought Doctor Strange as being kind of, I guess, older. Maybe mid-40s, mid-50s.
Maybe middle-aged at least.
Yeah. Kind of... And that's the thing I'm going to see.
Not right out of his residency.
I'll be honest, I'm a little worried far as the same with the Superman and Batman. I'm worried about that again being cartoonish, and I'm kind of worried that the Marvel's headed that way.
Who is directing it?
I haven't... I don't remember that one, and the link for some reason is not liking me. So.
Okay.
Now, the last time I heard anything about Doctor Strange, I mean, that was pretty deep in the rumor mill, too. I mean, as far as like, hey, this might be a movie. I mean, is he officially attached to it, or is this just, again, on the rumor mill?
This is a rumor mill. And this is, I'm not sure if this is phase 2. This might be phase 3 of the Marvel Universe. Because if you read the news, they're talking about, the first phase was Iron Man, introducing the JLA. I'm not JLA, Avengers. Practically the same damn thing. And the second one was going to be Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like this. So.
Well, and then they're going to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on TV.
Yeah, which I can't wait to see.
Me too.
So, well, I can't wait for Doctor Strange, because he's another character that people play off, and they don't realize the fact that, in that universe, he's pretty powerful. He's the, Sorcerer Supreme, so I really can't wait to see how they play this.
Well, and, in a day where, we just saw Pacific Rim, whether you liked it or not, that movie was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so in a world where they can do that, I look forward to all the stuff that's expected to have sort of heavy CGI, because I feel like they can pull it off at least.
By the way, what is with that movie and Oz the Great and Powerful look like an HD TV commercial?
Yeah, it almost, well...
It's like next thing you're going to see a Samsung ad, It's like, look how pretty these movies are. Holy crap.
Just bring back product placement, yeah.
I don't know. I would...
Dear God.
anyway, I would like to see. I don't know. I think just he's okay. He's an okay actor. I kind of wanted to see him. That was one of the guys I was going to throw into the mix when we were talking about the Ben Affleck thing. Is I would have liked to have seen him go into this universe with Superman.
Look, he's even skinnier and smaller than Christian Bale was, and see, at least Ben Affleck's a little bigger.
I agree with you on that.
A little heavier to him.
But to throw him in as Doctor Strange,
skinny dude.
I mean, you go from DC to Marvel.
I'll be completely honest. I like the older, gruffer Batman, so I kind of like the age of Ben Affleck.
I agree.
So here's an idea. What about George Clooney, far as Doctor Strange?
No. I actually like the one that I just looked up. I just found that Daniel Day-Lewis. Hold on. This is what I just read.
I can't wait to see the behind scenes. He referred.
I would love to see him. Hold
on. Let me just put this in. They found out that
I am Sorcerer Supreme.
Adrian Brody, Viggo Mortensen, and Daniel Day-Lewis all went into interview for the role.
For Doctor Strange?
For Doctor Strange, they went in for the interviews.
Oh, Viggo would be
Daniel
awesome.
Day-Lewis would just how much he would irritate his wife.
And it said that Daniel Day-Lewis has been studying for. He actually was saying that he has been studying for this role for 2 years, studying with the Ancient One with sorcery.
I hope.
Jesus, that would be the fucking greatest thing I think ever.
I actually think
up there with Cranston doing Lex Luthor.
He did. He from everything I've heard, he retired for a little bit after Lincoln. I'm assuming it was either that or divorce. But
you got to take a break.
The method acting behind that would be. Matter of fact, that would be almost probably better than the movie.
The documentary.
Would you like to see me pull a rabbit out of my hat?
Your job, Hollywood, and document that dude method acting Hugo Strange.
But I'll be honest, Viggo Mortensen, I like him as an actor.
I do too.
I actually think he could pull this off. He may not look like it, but he's a guy. If you've ever seen Eastern Promises, I know he could do. Really
I don't know who I want more for it. If it's Viggo or Daniel.
Well, and I was going to bring up before you brought up those two about Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Look how old they made him look in Looper.
Oh, that's
so they could. Stranger things have happened, and he's turned in good enough performances. So,
ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Real Flix Reviews. I gave Fat Kids Rule the World a 4. James gave it a 3. Ryan gave it a 4. And next week we're doing the movie South Central. It was James's pick. And
what's up?
I'll see you then.
Deuces.
Oh, brother.